Picture this for a second. Your bank account goes negative. Maybe you're only $4 short. Maybe it's $400. Here's the strange part. The bank honestly doesn't care how big or small that number is, because it doesn't change what happens next. The overdraft fee hits you within hours. At most banks, that's around $35. And it gets worse. Some banks charge that fee for every single transaction. So if 3 tiny charges go through while you're negative, you suddenly owe $105 in fees. On top of the money you already didn't have, the math here is almost elegant in how precisely it punishes the wrong person. Think about it. If you had money, you wouldn't be overdrawn in the first place. But because you don't have money, you now have even less of it. This is what real financial stress actually feels like. So you try to swipe your debit card at the gas station. Declined. You try again. Declined again. There's a whole line of people behind you. You're doing the math in your head as fast as you can. But you can't think fast enough. And the card just keeps saying no while everyone watches. It's not the dramatic movie version of being broke. It's just a card getting declined while you try to remember if you moved enough money over yesterday. Today we're going to break down something almost nobody talks about openly. The hidden rules banks use to treat rich and poor customers completely differently. We'll move through 4 levels of this system. And by the end, you'll see exactly how the design quietly rewards money and punishes the lack of it. Let's start at the bottom. Welcome to Level 1. This is the world of overdrafts and negative balances. At this level, the bank offers you something called overdraft protection. It sounds helpful. Here's what it actually means. Instead of just declining the charge at the register, the bank quietly covers it. And then it charges you $35 for the favor of not embarrassing you in public. Some banks have started lowering these fees or dropping them entirely. That mostly happened because regulators finally started paying attention. But most banks haven't changed a thing. And the banks that still charge these fees are mostly collecting that money from people who can't afford it. Here's a number worth sitting with. Banks pulled in over $7 billion in overdraft fees in just one recent year. And most of that cash came from a small group of people. People who kept going negative over and over again. The same people paying again and again for the privilege of being broke. In a system that charges you extra for being broke, at this level, you can't get a credit card. You can't get a loan. You can't get flexibility, or patience, or a phone call from someone who actually wants to help. What you get instead is automated. A fee slapped on by a computer that doesn't know your name. It doesn't know your paycheck was 2 days late. It has no idea that the $47 charge was a gym membership you forgot to cancel 6 months ago. That system knows exactly one thing about you. Your balance is negative, and everything that happens to you flows from that single fact. At this level, you are not really a customer. You are a cost the bank is trying to recover. Now let's move up. Welcome to Level 2. This is the world of the low balance. You've clawed your account back out of negative. Now you've got $200 in there, sometimes $400, occasionally even $600, right before rent wipes it out again. You're not overdrawn anymore. You're something slightly better than overdrawn. You're the kind of account the bank will deal with, but doesn't really care about. Then the monthly maintenance fee shows up. It's $12 or $15 pulled out automatically. Why? Because your average daily balance didn't hit the minimum they set. That minimum is usually around $1,500. Sometimes it's $500 depending on the bank. If you had $1,500 just sitting there untouched, the fee would vanish. But since you don't, the fee stays. So you are literally paying for the account that is supposed to be holding your money. There are no special savings rates here either. Your balance is too small to qualify for the higher interest tier. You're earning 0.01% a year on whatever's in there. That's basically nothing. Meanwhile, the bank takes that same money and lends it out. They lend it at 7% to 24%, depending on the product they're selling. The gap between what they pay you and what they earn off your money is how banking works at every level. But at this level, you're just not big enough for them to compete for your business. So you try to get a credit card. Maybe you can get approved for a secured card. That's the kind where you put your own money down as collateral against your own credit limit. Think about what that means. You're lending the bank your own money, so they can lend it back to you, and then charge you interest on it. This is legal. This is completely normal. And this is how credit gets built when you're starting from the bottom of the tier system. The service you get here isn't mean. It's just completely indifferent. The teller is friendly enough. The app works fine. If you call with a problem, you sit on hold. Eventually, you reach someone reading from a script. They handle the basic stuff and pass the strange stuff on to someone you'll never actually talk to. There's no real relationship here. There's just a transaction. You need basic banking, and they do basic banking. That's all this is. At this level, you're a number, a small number. And the bank's interest in small numbers is handled entirely by machines. Now something starts to shift. Welcome to level 3. This is the world of stable income. The change doesn't happen in a dramatic way. You land a real job. Or the job you already have starts paying better. Your direct deposit is now $3,200 a month. And it shows up every 2 weeks like clockwork. The bank notices. Not with a phone call. Not with a congratulations card. It notices through its algorithm. The pattern of your account shifts from scattered and low to steady and middle range. And the system quietly moves you into a different bucket. The credit card offers start rolling in. And these aren't secured cards. These are real credit cards with real limits of $2,000 or maybe $3,500. The interest rates are still steep, around 22% to 26%. That's because your credit history is still short, and the bank is still hedging its risk. But the door is finally open. The same bank that had nothing to offer you 6 months ago is now mailing you offers. It's flashing banners at you inside the app. The products you couldn't touch before are suddenly being pitched to you. Why? Because your income pattern now makes you a real money-making opportunity. So you apply for a small personal loan, $5,000 for a car repair. It gets approved in 48 hours. That's not exactly lightning fast, but it works. The rate is 11%. It isn't amazing, but you can handle it. And here's the thing you really notice. The process actually worked. You needed something, you asked, and they said yes. For the first time ever, the bank worked the way people say banks are supposed to work. The monthly fees have probably disappeared too. Your direct deposit now qualifies you for a fee waiver. It feels like a bigger deal than it probably is. That's only because you paid those fees for so long that not paying them is noticeable. The account is now free to keep open. You finally get to hold your own money without paying for the privilege. At this level, you're a customer. Recognized, serviceable, and on the radar. The bank wants to keep you around because you make them money. Through your card swipes, your loan interest, and your growing balance that they lend out at a profit. You matter to them the way any customer matters to any business. Which means you matter as long as you're spending. And they'd swap you out without a second thought if you walked away. Now we reach the top of what we'll cover today. Welcome to level 4. This is the world of growing savings. You've been consistent. Not lucky. Not flashy. Just consistent. The savings account now has $18,000 sitting in it. The investment account has another $22,000. The credit card gets paid off every single month. So that 24% interest rate is completely irrelevant. Because you never carry a balance. Through regular discipline, over several regular years, you've crossed an invisible line. And here's the truth that ties all 4 levels together. Nothing about your worth as a person changed across these levels. What changed was your balance. At level 1, you were a cost to recover. At level 2, you were a small number handled by machines. At level 3, you became an opportunity worth pitching to. At level 4, you become someone the bank actively wants to keep. The system never announced any of this to you. There was no menu explaining the tiers. No teller telling you which bucket you were in. The segmentation happened quietly, by balance, behind the screen. And that's the real secret. Banks don't treat rich and poor customers differently because of a single cruel decision. They do it through automated rules that reward money and quietly penalize the lack of it. The fees fall hardest on the people with the least. The patience and the good rates flow to the people who already have more. Once you can see this design, you can start to work around it. Avoid the overdraft traps wherever you can. Watch for the balance thresholds that erase monthly fees. And understand that better treatment usually follows a steady, predictable income pattern. The system isn't personal. It's just built that way. And now you know exactly how it works.